Hi, everybody. Welcome to our signing day Swampcast. I'm Robbie, Andreu, the Gainesville Sun, and with me, Abolverdi, our Gatorsports.com recruiting expert and Gainesville Sun writer. And, Zach, we talked earlier, boom or bust for Florida. I kind of think it was in the middle somewhere. There was some boom, not a real lot of bust, but a really solid overall day for Florida, the consensus top 5 class. I know people are complaining about maybe the lack of skill players on offense, but you don't want to get too picky with this one. Heavy on the line of scrimmage, but a solid day, I would say. And what do you think was the big news today, kind of the boom for Florida?
Well, the boom was obviously Mr. Fowler out of St. Petersburg making the switch. I thought all along that he was going to stick with Florida State until I talked to him last week, and he said he didn't know where he was going to go. And I think I kind of got him when he was expressing his true feelings. The next day he came out and said, "Oh, I'm still 100% FSU," but when someone shows you your true colors, you kind of believe them. And after that, I kind of felt like Florida was going to get him, and they did. So they had a boom in that department. But they busted on everybody else. They didn't land, the kids that were deciding today. They were really only in it for like 3 or 4. They felt really good about Josh Harvey Clemens. I know the coaches did. And obviously the family.
Howard, of course.
And obviously the family did because they want him to go to Florida, and they're not signing his LOI.
Yeah. So, do you want a guy to come to your school that doesn't really want to come here? But I think it's different in this guy's case because he does like Florida.
Oh, yeah.
He just would like Georgia a little bit more. So that's something they have to iron out. So there could be another addition on the defense.
And don't get me wrong, he's a guy that Florida would have been great for them to get.
No question.
But he's still an athlete, and he's he's not going to guy that's going to come in and step right away. What hurt them the most is not getting another lineman. And they didn't get Avery Young. I thought Florida was in it. He picked, reports say he picked Auburn over Florida, so they were right there. But, like we talked about, as much as they need to add another lineman, they still got 2 great ones.
Yes, they did. 2 high-impact guys that are on campus now or are going to compete for playing time in the spring. So I think they take 2 really good guys that are on campus as opposed to 4 guys that you don't really know. They're going to have to develop over time.
And that's what Florida's done in the past. They've signed a lot of linemen before, and none of them have ever made an impact. At least they haven't yet. So, it's kind of, pick your poison, which one you prefer. But, Florida, to me, it's a great class. They're top 5 consensus. They address the defensive line needs.
In a big way. 8 guys on the defensive line. So,
and you can't, especially with how tough it was last year for Muschamp to finish. He really didn't have a chance to get the guys that he wanted to, and he didn't have a chance to build relationships. And that's what I'm going to write about. This year he got the guys that he wanted to be in his program. Kind of be the stepping stone for what he wants Florida. To have the Florida way, as he likes to say. So these are the guys that are going to do it. They're all level-headed kids. They're all guys that rank. They got the number 1 tackle, the number 1 tight end, the number 1 defensive end, and a bunch of good players that are going to add.
A bunch of athletes that can play. So.
Yeah. So a lot of Gator fans are upset about the class, but I think they're just upset with the finish. If you really look at it overall, Florida did a great job. They wouldn't be a top 5 class if they didn't.
And I think, they came up a little short at wide receiver, but that could all be taken care of in 10 days if Stephon Diggs, who you think is coming here. If he signs with Florida, I think they're completely happy with this. Maybe they could have used one other offensive lineman, but if Diggs comes on board, you're talking about a top 3 or 4 class and, needs are taken care of pretty much. And, Muschamp was very happy to. He said all along, this is a line of scrimmage league. They got worn out on the defensive line last year. They signed 8 defensive linemen this year. Guys are going to help early, and I think that was big for them. Line of scrimmage league, a lot of defensive linemen.
And if you trace it back, Florida needs receivers, and don't get me wrong, Florida doesn't have the dynamic receivers that they want right now. But last year they didn't have a chance to get the ball because they couldn't protect the quarterback. So you get guys in there like DJ Humphreys and Dunker, who once they get in the program, they're early enrollees.
And put them in the weight room.
In a year or 2, if they can be on the line and be starters and be pro-style type linemen, Florida can run the offense that they want. Maybe that will matter more than them having a 5-star wide receiver, because they'll be able to get open.
Well, Zach can make you guys feel good about one thing, and it's the guy that came on the radar today that nobody expected, the wide receiver from Tallahassee. And Zach, you saw him at Friday Night Lights.
He was great.
So Zach can talk about this guy. I think he might be a player. Maybe not right away, but maybe somewhere down the line he might help Florida win a football game, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, he's a guy. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but he's got great size. He's got great hands. He knows how to get open. He knows how to kind of find the seam in the secondary. He was great at Friday Night Lights. Florida didn't have the best receivers in the nation out there, but he was one of the top guys. They knew about him.
He was on the board, like Muschamp said
today. And when the writing was on the wall that they weren't going to get Aguilar, they said, okay, well, we need to bring this kid on, and he's going to be able to help out. They only have 7, 8 receivers on the roster, so they needed him.
Yeah, and it made the kid real happy. And this is a good athlete and really good student, so he's the kind of guy you want on your team.
Yeah. So but in closing, this is just it's a great, like I said, it's a great stepping stone for Muschamp. He addressed the most important needs, which was the defensive line, and he got two really
quality
good
offensive line that can help early, maybe.
Exactly. And they got a great secondary. Even though they missed on Tracy Howard, they still got
great secondary
Marcus
class,
May and Brian Poole, and so it's a solid class for Florida. And then they get the flip from Fowler, maybe a little bit of revenge for Florida fans that missed on Jernigan last year. So, but it was a great class, and maybe Muschamp can keep it going moving forward.
Yeah, so Gator fans, you ought to be pretty happy. It was a very good class. I think you're going to like it a little more down the road, 2 or 3 years from now. But thanks for joining us for our special Signing Day Swampcast. We'll see you soon.